Hello YouTube, hello. Right, doing this today. Fast forward, doing this. Fast forward, got this fabulous slipcover edition here. Got the Blu-ray in the machine at the moment, and I'm going to put the DVD ROM on now while I'm in the bath. So just bear with me, I'm going to give you my thoughts. Got the ROM there. What did I think of it? Seen it a few times. It's basically, it's not what I thought led to believe it was going to be, which is back to roots ensemble piece. Because basically, if you haven't already seen it, one of the characters on the front cover, let's put it this way, spoilers, okay? If you don't want to hear any potential spoilers, turn off now. See the characters on the front there? It depicts an ensemble piece. Basically, gives the potential, its appearance gives the potential like it might be similar to the first one, yeah? In its ensembleness. But what occurs to one of these faces, basically, I'm going to give a heavy spoiler here, so if you haven't seen this, turn off. If you haven't seen this film, turn off now. Basically, Michelle Rodriguez's character dies in the first 10 minutes, after the first 10 minutes. So what appearance the cover gives, it was quite deceiving. Basically, it should have only really been those three faces on the cover. It isn't an ensemble piece like the first one, therefore it's not as enjoyable. It wasn't as enjoyable for me as the first one. In fact, it probably is on par with the second one for me. Very different to the second one because it tries to be an ensemble piece. It tries to be. It nearly succeeds. I like the first one over the second, so that's why I'm saying it's on par with the second. It's basically, it's like the second movie, where you had the two leads in the second, plus Jordana Brewster's character. Yeah, it sort of like does feel like an ensemble piece, but it isn't as depicted. Like I just mentioned a minute ago, like the first, they're all back together kind of thing. It's not like that, and it's a very different animal to what it depicts. As I say, I hadn't seen these movies. I haven't seen them. So, for me, it was disappointing. These aren't straightforward reviews, by the way, like I said in my trailer for this retrospective. They're not straightforward reviews. Basically, my thoughts on the final films, on the franchise in which Paul Walker appears in the final one. Yeah, Paul Walker now in this film, he's looking like the mature Paul Walker, which the late Paul Walker. There's there's a big departure in his age from the first and the second, where he's virtually the same age, and now jumping on to the fourth, Fast and Furious. There's a massive departure in the way he looks. He just looks like a completely different person. He looked like a boy in the first two, and now he looks like a mature adult now. We're on to the fourth. The next one being the fifth one, Fast 5, which is basically, I was saying in the intro, which was the movie which was just being made when I first got the internet, and it was just everywhere, all that Fast 5, and that which brought the franchise to my attention. It says this is a DVD-ROM disc, as well as the digital copy. How the hell do I get the movie? It says that it is you can get the movie from the disc as well. No, it looks like it's just a digital copy. Anyway, that's a pain in the ass. Paul Walker, as time's going on, as the years progressing, getting nearer for me to actually be able to watch Fast 5 and Fast 6. I'm looking forward to the latter part of my retrospective, not only to Fast 7 itself. Fast 4, I found it was just really disappointing that Michelle Rodriguez's character died in it so early. I've not seen, as I said, I've not seen any of them before this retrospective. I've not seen any of the movies prior to me doing this retrospective. Of the movie itself, I was generally let down by the fact that it wasn't an ensemble piece like the cover leads you to believe. But it gives the impression that the movie's on there and in DVD-ROM format, but it does give the impression the movie's on there as well. I was going to watch that again when I was doing the bath. Oh, just getting in the bath here, so I thought I'd do this now. The movie, it's not as young as the first two. I'm completely thrown now because my thoughts are on Paul Walker and the fact that it was a very different film than the first two because he looks so different in it. The movies, I'm getting to grips now with the Fast and Furious franchise. They're very young movies, even though the actual characters thus far, even though the actors playing the characters are aging themselves, this Fast 4, Fast and Furious was still a very young movie. Just like the first two were, there were still the dancing girls in the tight bikini tops and bottoms, and not as explicitly so, but yeah, I'd like to think Fast 5 and Fast 6 are going to mature. The movies themselves, the nature of the movies might mature a little bit. The Rock is in Fast 5. He's depicted on the cover of Fast 5. Whether or not that adds any kind of mature tone to the nature of the movie, the storyline, the narrative, etc., etc. Whether or not Fast 5 and Fast 6 are going to mature in their narrative and in their style, I don't know. This was Fast 4, very young. Paul Walker, I think this was made the same time he did Into the Blue. He looked very similar. Yeah, I mean, I'm describing the way he looks. He looks very similar. He looks very similar to how he looked in the movie Into the Blue. This was made in 2008. Let me just check this out. '09. So yeah, it's about the same time as Into the Blue. He looked about the same age as in Into the Blue. It's probably a year or two between these movies. It's out there on my shelf unit in the living room. I'm not going to pause this. I want to do this all in one. What can I say? Yeah, I'm enjoying the franchise so far. The way it's progressing. The way I'm enjoying it so far. It's. I was thinking to myself watching it. There are some scenes in this movie, Fast and Furious, where he, you know, when you saw a lot of his family at the time he died, when they were in the news and stuff, his brothers, etc., were in the news talking, and his father and his mother. There are scenes in this movie where he does look like his brothers, and I was thinking, they're easily going to be able to pull off Fast 7 for that reason. You could see his brothers in him. I'm just so curious as to how Fast 7 is going to work out and turn out. As I say, I've not seen Fast 5 or Fast 6, so it's like I'm enjoying the Fast and Furious franchise, and I'm able to watch Paul Walker in these movies and enjoy it and enjoy him in them. I can imagine it's going to get a bit mad and sticky toward the end when I watch the 5 and 6. I can just imagine it's going to get a little bit awkward. It's yeah, just still feels really weird. Okay, till the next one, which will be Fast 5.